What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build. I'm sitting here in my living room. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to get some tires for the off-road limo. Originally, I kind of thought, like, maybe we could just use, I don't know, these tires, but these tires are for my BRZ, so we probably shouldn't use those tires. And I thought, we could use these tires, but these tires are for the S2000 and S2000 wheels. So I figured we'd use these tires. That's right, Treadright sent me a big ass set of tires. Will they fit on the BMW? Absolutely not, but we will make them fit. Let's go get them put on our wheels. Those tires weigh a lot. We got our tires all loaded up. We're on our way down to Double J where our wheels are already down there, and we're gonna get these new tires put on our wheels. Good news in another arena. I just got off the phone with Oregon Traffic Police. I just wanted to verify that what we were doing with the limo is completely legal, and it is. As long as the limo is only used as a limo, which it is, and the driver is a hired driver, which I will be. I'm gonna charge them a lot. So we're good to go on that, and we're good to continue building without having to worry about the legality of that at all, that's a nice weight off my shoulders. If you ever have any questions about if you're breaking the law or not, remember, you can always just call the cops on yourself. All right, let's get these tires put on these wheels and get down to the shop. Oh wait, no, we got another detour. I'll be right back. All right, we got tires on wheels right there. So really cool news on that too. We were able to save a lot of money. They traded me the services to put the wheels and tires together or whatever for the Michelin tires that came off the wheels. So normally that's an $80 job. It's 20 bucks per tire for these big off-road tires, and they gave me that for free, essentially. Well, they took the Michelin tires. So with that, that's 80 bucks off our budget. Good news. Now we're back at Copart to get a trip permit for our vehicle. Pro tip, if you're in Oregon at least, I don't know about the other locations, if you need a trip permit for your vehicle, you can just run into Copart and buy one rather than going to the DMV, which can be a total pain in the ass. So we're here, we're gonna get a trip permit and then head back to the shop. Well, this is the first time I've got the tires and the wheels next to the car, and if I've done a Photoshop. I kind of knew what this would look like, but it wasn't quite so intimidating on the computer. This is the first time I've ever been really concerned that we might not actually be able to do this in the time frame that we have. We have today, tomorrow, and the next day to somehow fit these wheels that are many inches too big and too tall. I don't know what we're gonna do. I want to thank Treadright so much for sending these tires out. I didn't go into it enough this morning. I've mentioned before, the Treadright, awesome company. They build remolded tires that can come to you for a really affordable price. And I'll talk a little bit more about them a little bit later in the episode. But for right now, I gotta let out some of these nerves. I'm gonna get to work because I'm panicking. So I'm gonna start breaking down this front end, get the fender off, get everything off, get it as bare as I can. That way I can fit some tires on the front and see how it's gonna look, what our turning radius is, if we're gonna be able to, maybe turn a little. I don't know, man. Here we go. Did a little weight reduction right here. I went for the fender first to try and take off the fender, but it being a German car, it's a total pain. I had to unbolt the roof hood. That's called a hood, not a roof. And there's some bolts in here that I have yet to get off. So I can't get the fender off quite yet. That's quite stuck on there. I wanted to show you what we're dealing with under here. It's just more bad news. Got an air conditioner, dryer, I believe that's what that is, sitting right there. So obviously if the tire is gonna turn, sorry, let me back it up a little bit. If the tire is gonna turn out that way, that's gonna be an issue. It's gonna be hard to cut stuff away from here because this is wiring. For some reason, BMW decided to throw wiring in the wheel well. Brilliant. And then the washer fluid, which we are good at getting rid of those. So I'm thinking we can make a little bit of space this way. Not a lot of room this way, but we're gonna have to make some room. The tire still doesn't even clear from here to to here. But I do feel like if we get rid of both those things, we're gonna have some hope. So I'm gonna work on getting the fender off more completely, and then we could try and test fit. All right, the fender won't come off. It's a big problem. There's a bolt on the inside of the door, so you have to come to the inside of the door here, open the door all the way up, and if you sneak a T30 Torx like this guy way deep in there, you still can't get the right angle because it wants you to come at it from over here. So basically I would have to take the door off, which I'm not gonna do, to get access to that. It's old, so the bolts are all really stuck and they're very hard to get off, and that's another issue. Other than that, that's the only bolt. So I'm gonna keep messing around with the tire, see what we can do with the fender loose like it is, because it's pretty loose. And if not, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna take the cutoff wheel, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna cut all around there, basically detaching it from that last bolt inside the door. And that will be how we remove that fender. All right guys, I'm gonna be really honest. I don't know what to do right now. We could go back to the tire shop and ask for our old tires back. And I guess I could ship these bad boys back to Treadright, or we could use them on a future build, you know. I got some 20-inch Mustang rims back there. We can see if they're the same lug pattern, and see what those would do. Man, I just don't know. So we're at a crossroads right now where it's like, I either got to admit that these tires are too large and will never work on this vehicle, or go completely YOLO, cut everything off that gets in the way, and we would have to weld the springs at full maximum extension. The only way this would ever work with these tires is if the suspension is basically completely hanging maximum. To do that, we'd have to take the spring coils inside the strut, and we would just weld one link to the next link to the next link, so they can no longer compress. So we'd be riding on complete, like, hard. There'd be no more spring, there'd be no more shock. Big tires like this, we could lower the PSI a little bit, that'll give us a little bounce. And the frame has some like shock absorption in it. I'm so torn. I guess I'm gonna look up bolt patterns, see if maybe the Mustang wheels will fit. I'm just gonna grab a Mustang wheel. I'm gonna test fit a Mustang wheel. If it fits, I'm gonna think about that. And then if not, this is the Oregon 500. This is the time that we do this crazy stuff. I'm just gonna grab the cutoff wheel and we're gonna start making stuff fit. Let's see. Well, it's on there. This is on there in a pretty sketchy way. So what happened was with the 2-inch wheel spacer in front, the tire was running into the strut tower. So the strut tower goes down through there. I've done enough suspension episodes recently. Y'all should know about this by now. It hit the strut tower in a bad way. The strut tower is basically hitting the tire right here. So I added another 2-inch spacer. So you can see in there, this thing's running 4 inches of spacers, which is dangerous to say the least. It's gonna be really hard on the actual hardware of the car as well, on the parts, but it should get us that 500 miles. So let's see. The biggest problem is I had 4 of those. If we use 2 on each side, they're all used up on the front. I had those lying around from the old, the last actual 500 build. That's why they fit the BMW lug pattern. I wanted to do more wide body-ish stuff and we ran out of time. So a little bit more trimming on both sides and we would have turning radius, welding that strut tower up and maybe modifying the strut to be a little bit more shallow. That'll make the car sit at this height. That would mean that we'd need to get the back installed and working with the 0 spacer. It looks like this back spring is much more, I don't know, you'd say easy to work with or whatever. It's a lot less wide and everything. So that's the next thing we gotta do. I'm committed, so I'm committed. We're gonna keep going on this. I'm gonna see what happens. So I have to cut the body around here, and then we're gonna cut the rear bumper back there, widen that hole out a little bit, and probably pull all the fender liners out of there, and then we'll throw our wheel in and pray that it doesn't rub on any of the stuff in here. it looks to me like it's gonna, like whatever this is not gonna be happy, but we'll have to see. It's weird that the only way to really find out is to cut the body, which is a bummer, but this is where we're at now. This is what we're doing, I guess. Poor BMW. All right, guys, final nail in the coffin. I used the measuring tape. So here's the problem. This is how ridiculous this looks over here. That's 4 inches of space. It doesn't look very safe at all. The only way that we could actually run these on the rear is with another 4 inches of spacers. You can't order any more spacers. We only have tomorrow and the next day to finish this build. And that's not enough time to order any spacers in, period. But even if we could, it'd be pretty dangerous. The reason we can't get it in here right now is because that right there is the gas tank. And so if you look at how far the wheel would sit in, it needs like 16.5 inches of clearance, and it would it means it would hit the gas tank, and we obviously can't have that. That's also a gas drain line, so we don't want to be playing around too close to that. And this part right here, when we go to cut it out, it's the actual frame of the car. It's not a fender or anything, so it's a lot more serious when we try and cut it out. So it's just not really an option unless we'd run 4 inches of spacers on there, which I don't think I really want to do. So now what do we do? All right, guys, well, I thought long and hard about it. I actually took a break for a couple of hours and did some Googling, and I've come to the conclusion that we can't run tires this large. There may be a way with wheel spacers, but it's gonna mean welding the suspension. Welding the suspension is pretty dangerous on a car like this. You need to have weight transfer when you get on the brakes and you go into corners. It's just how cars are designed, and if you weld the suspension completely flat, you won't have that weight transfer, and stuff gets pretty dangerous. And I was thinking back to the last Oregon 500 that we did, and we did that in a BMW with some kind of questionable suspension and stuff repairs, and I remember how fast we were driving to keep up with the pack, and it was a little sketchy. I remember thinking, this is like a little bit dangerous. We're driving pretty fast in a car that's got questionable repairs. So that made me come to the conclusion that, you know what, we are gonna modify the suspension on this thing. We gotta raise it up a little bit, but I don't wanna weld it completely solid. So that's the decision. I need to go get some different tires for us to be able to do that. So these tires, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but these were provided to us by TreadRight. They have a lot of faith in us, and this time, unfortunately, I screwed up. I was a little bit too ambitious. But thanks so much to TreadRight for believing in us and this crazy idea and sending us out some tires. What we will do with these tires, I do not know. Maybe we will put them in on a future build, or we'll find something to do with them. They might be a giveaway, another giveaway, or a future build. I'll talk with TreadRight and we'll figure out what to do with these tires. But thanks so much to TreadRight for believing in us and trying to make this crazy pipe dream a possibility. And I'll put a link in the description if you guys are interested in picking yourself up some very, very affordable, very good quality tires. I highly recommend them. Like I mentioned a couple episodes ago, I have these on my FJ. I've driven thousands and thousands of miles with them, and I've had zero problems. I'm super happy. I've done them in high water, driven through feet of water with them, snow, they did awesome. Lots of road travel, all sorts of good stuff, and off-road. I did quite a bit of off-roading and camping trips this year and stuff like that. So really good product. Thank you guys. Just thanks for believing in us. Even though this is one of the first times I think I went super ambitious, but completely failed. I'm not sure if I completely failed. I think it is now going to be the BS for Build kinda off-road limo service.com. See, I can't even get it out without. Anyways, tomorrow morning I'm going to try and get us some tires, and then we'll see how that goes. And then progress will happen very quickly after that. So look forward to that, because we only have 2 days to get this car ready for the 500. Tonight I'm going to go design our bar section entertainment system for my passengers, and try and print some decals for the car. I'm thinking tribal. Just kidding. Anyways, thank you guys so much. If you like BS for Build, you like what we do, and you want to help out and support, go to bsforbuild.com, scroll down to the shop, pick yourself up a t-shirt, bam. And then also, if you want to find us in more places, we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter, and we're hanging out behind your mom's house, looking in the window, and we are also Snapchat. That's the thing that kids do these days. So follow us on there. What else? Is it 10 minutes yet? Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and subscribe. Peace! Come on!